Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bookercast, the podcast where books come to life.
And I'm so excited to dive into another amazing story with all of you.
Whether you're a bookworm or just love a good story, this is the place for you.
Every episode, we explore incredible books, talk about their stories and characters, and share insights that'll make you fall in love with reading all over again.
All right, let's not keep you waiting any longer. Get comfortable, and let's jump right into it.
Sounds good.
Welcome in, everybody. Today we're doing a deep dive into S.A. Cosby's All the Sinners Bleed.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be good.
It's a crime novel and a gripping one at that.
It really is.
So we're going to explore how this book kind of fits into the whole world of contemporary crime fiction.
Okay.
But also how it tackles some really complex issues.
Yeah.
Like race, justice, and morality in the American South.
Absolutely.
So are you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's dive in.
All right. So Cosby, right off the bat, gives us this incredibly vivid picture of Charon County, Virginia.
Uh-huh.
And it's a place that feels like the past is very much present.
Oh, for sure.
It's like that whole history of the county,
Right.
with its violence and racial tensions.
Yeah.
It's just woven into the fabric of the community.
It's inescapable.
And that's clear from the very beginning when he mentions that massacre of the indigenous village.
Oh, yeah, right away.
It just sets this tone for the entire story.
Totally.
Like this feeling that violence is almost endemic to this place.
Yeah, it's in the soil.
Yeah. And in this county, in this troubled county, we meet Titus Crown.
Mm.
And he's Charon County's first black sheriff.
First black sheriff, exactly.
Can you talk a little bit about Titus and the weight of expectations on him?
Well, Titus, he's this incredibly compelling character, right? He's a
Yeah.
symbol of hope for change,
Absolutely.
but at the same time, he's got to constantly navigate a minefield.
Right.
He's got the expectations of the black community who are so instrumental in getting him elected.
Of course.
But then he's also under intense scrutiny from the white community.
Always watching.
Yeah. It's like walking a tightrope all the time.
And we also get these glimpses into his personal life.
Oh, yeah.
That strained relationship with his father, the grief over his mother's death.
Right.
And we even see him starting this romance with Darlene.
Yeah.
Just adds this whole other layer to him.
Absolutely. It makes him so much more than just a symbol. He's
Okay.
not just this figurehead.
Exactly.
He's a real person, complex and vulnerable. And that makes his journey all the more fascinating to follow.
Then things really kick into gear when we have that school shooting.
Oh, man.
It's just this horrific event.
Absolutely.
But it also feels like a catalyst
I see that.
that kind of cracks open the surface of Charon County,
Yeah.
and starts to reveal the darkness that's simmering underneath.
Yeah, forces everyone to see what's really there.
Exactly. And one of those secrets that emerges is the murder of Jeff Spearman.
Right, the beloved teacher.
Yeah. And what's shocking isn't just the murder itself,
No,
but the truth that comes out about his life.
it's a real gut punch.
It is.
The discovery that he was involved in the sexual abuse and murder of young boys.
Just horrifying.
It really shatters that illusion of innocence.
Totally.
It makes you realize how deep depravity can go.
Yeah. Even in seemingly ordinary people.
You just never know.
And so that leads Titus to this pursuit of the last wolf.
Right, the accomplice.
Yeah. And this figure almost becomes mythical.
I agree.
The symbol of the predator lurking in the shadows.
Yeah, like a boogeyman almost.
Yeah. Cosby's use of symbolism there is so effective.
Really well done.
It's not just a name for the killer.
Right.
It represents something bigger.
Oh,
The darkness that's haunted Charon County for generations.
for sure.
Titus's pursuit is full of twists and turns.
Oh, yeah, it keeps you guessing.
He uncovers more bodies. There's that chillingly staged murder of Cole Marshall.
Right.
And those recurring motifs of angels
Uh-huh.
that are connected to all the killer's actions.
Those angels are so creepy.
They are, especially how Cosby describes them.
Yeah, distorted and grotesque.
It adds this eerie layer to everything.
Totally.
Like they represent this perversion of faith.
Yeah, like a twisted kind of justice.
As the investigation continues, the pressure on Titus just mounts.
Oh, absolutely.
There's the community's fear and mistrust.
Right.
You've got all the political maneuvering of people trying to take advantage of the
Of
situation.
course.
And then just the emotional toll it's taking on Titus himself.
It's a lot for one man to handle.
It really is. And Cosby shows us the impact.
Yeah, both physically and emotionally.
It makes his dedication to finding the truth even more impressive.
Oh, yeah, he just keeps going. It's interesting how Cosby brings in this theme of redemption into this really dark story.
Yeah.
We see Titus wrestling with his past,
Right.
the community trying to grapple with its history,
Yeah.
and even these glimmers of hope for some characters like Marquis.
Yeah. Speaking of Marquis, Titus's brother,
Oh, yeah.
he's such a complex character.
He really is.
He represents this whole different way
Right.
of dealing with the pain of the past,
Yeah.
which Titus, with his lawman mentality, really struggles to understand.
He does. Their relationship is so important to the story.
Yeah.
It really highlights those different ways
Okay.
that Black men respond to racism and trauma.
Yeah.
You've got Marquis, who's chosen to operate outside the law.
Right.
And then you have Titus, who's trying to work within the system,
Yeah.
even though it's flawed.
And for Titus, his own past keeps coming back to haunt him.
Oh, yeah, that time with the FBI.
It feels like those experiences really shaped how he sees the world.
Absolutely. Especially his ideas about justice.
Like he's carrying a lot of baggage from those days.
Yeah, he saw things, dead things,
Right.
that still weigh on him.
It makes you think
Yeah.
about what it even means to be a good person,
Right.
a good lawman.
When you've seen so much darkness.
It's almost like he's trying to atone for his past
I think so.
by seeking justice in Sharon County.
Crying to make things right.
And that ties into this larger theme of faith
Oh, yeah, for sure.
that runs through the whole novel.
It does. Almost every character is grappling with their beliefs.
Yeah, in some way.
We see Titus questioning his faith,
Right.
Reverend Wilkes clinging to his so tightly.
Yeah, almost fanatically.
And then there's Royce,
Oh, yeah.
whose view of religion is completely warped.
Clearly.
It's fascinating because Cosby doesn't give us easy answers about faith.
No, he doesn't.
It's not just good or bad. It's this complex force
Okay.
that can be used for both good and evil.
It all depends on the individual.
Right, and how they use that power.
And that feeds into Cosby's exploration of morality.
It does, big time.
What does it even mean to be a good person
Right.
in a world full of darkness?
A world that's so messed up.
Titus is always facing these moral dilemmas.
Oh, yeah. Constantly.
Every decision he makes has consequences,
For sure.
and he has to weigh them against what he believes is right.
And there are no easy answers.
No.
Cosby doesn't give us a black and white world.
Right, it's all gray areas.
It makes you really think.
The book has sparked a lot of conversation
Oh, yeah, it has.
about race and justice in America.
It makes you uncomfortable.
It does.
It's important.
It is. It doesn't shy away from those hard truths.
It's a powerful indictment of racism.
Systemic racism.
It's not just about the blatant discrimination.
Right.
It's about how the past still shapes the present.
Yeah.
Those subtle ways prejudice is woven into everything.
Makes you think about the legacy of slavery.
Yeah.
Jim Crow.
How it affects Black communities today.
Cosby does an amazing job
He does.
using crime fiction to explore these huge issues.
It's more than just solving a crime.
Right.
It's a commentary on society.
Yeah, so for those who haven't read the book
Mm-hmm.
or need a refresher,
Okay.
let's go over some of the key moments.
All right.
We talked about the school shooting,
Yeah.
the murder of Jess Spearman,
Right.
and the hunt for the last wolf.
Okay.
Another turning point is when they find those 7 murdered children.
Oh, yeah. Buried in a field.
Just horrifying.
Awful. It really shows how depraved the killer is.
It emphasizes the failures of the system, the way those children
Oh, Blacker.
were ignored.
Forgotten.
Their deaths really speak to that systemic racism.
Yeah. Permeating everything.
And then the murder of Cole Marshall,
Titus's friend.
who worked at the seafood plant,
Right?
the way his body is staged,
With the angels.
adds this whole psychological layer.
It's like the killer is trying to send a message.
A twisted justification.
You wonder about the nature of evil.
Yeah, what motivates these horrific acts?
The climax happens at the Fall Fest,
Right, this county-wide celebration.
which becomes the stage for that final confrontation.
Such a good choice of setting.
It really is, because it represents what Sharon County is supposed to be.
Yeah, a place of community.
Tradition, shared values.
But underneath it all,
Yeah.
there's that simmering tension.
Unresolved pain
And the killer's actions just bring it all to the surface.
forces them to confront the darkness.
When Royce Cunningham is revealed as the last wolf,
It's a shock,
it is.
but it makes sense
Yeah.
when you consider his backstory.
And his twisted faith.
He's a product of everything wrong with Sharon County.
Right.
All that trauma, prejudice, violence.
That final confrontation with Titus is so intense.
Oh, it's a clash.
Between 2 ways of dealing with the past.
Titus trying to break the cycle
And Royce perpetuating it.
brings us back to that question. How do we find the strength to heal?
In a world where everyone is bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like Cosby is saying we have to face our past.
Yeah.
Both individually and as a society.
Mm-hmm.
If we want any chance of healing.
I think so.
We can't just ignore those wounds.
No.
We have to acknowledge them.
You got to look at the ugly stuff.
And that's what Titus is doing throughout the book.
His whole journey.
He's confronting those demons.
Yeah, the ones from his own past.
And the legacy of violence that hangs over Charon County.
A heavy burden.
It's not about forgetting.
No.
Or dismissing the past.
Understanding it.
And learning from it.
Exactly.
And then there's that concept of forgiveness.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
We see Titus struggling to forgive himself.
For sure.
For things he's done.
Right.
And the community as a whole.
Trying to come to terms with its history.
All that racism and injustice.
It makes you wonder if forgiveness is the key.
To breaking free.
From those cycles of pain.
It's hard, though.
Oh, it's so hard.
Cosby doesn't give us easy answers.
Yeah.
But he seems to suggest
that
forgiveness
of ourselves and others
is essential.
It's vital for healing.
It's not about condoning those wrongs.
Right.
But letting go of that anger.
And resentment.
That keeps us trapped.
Exactly. You got to break those chains.
And that feels relevant to today's world.
Absolutely.
Where there's so much negativity.
There's so much division.
This book reminds us that empathy
and compassion
are essential.
If we want a better future.
For ourselves.
And for society as a whole.
It's not an easy path, though.
No, it's not.
It takes effort.
A conscious effort.
To understand other people.
See their humanity.
Even if they've hurt us.
And to recognize
our own capacity.
For both good and evil.
We all have that in us.
We do.
And Titus embodies that struggle.
Yeah, he does.
He's made mistakes.
But he's capable of such compassion.
There's always that spark of hope.
Even in the darkest times.
We just have to fan it into a flame.
So how do we do that?
How do we cultivate that hope?
And move towards healing.
As individuals.
And as a society.
It feels like Cosby is saying it's a process. A journey.
That takes honesty.
Courage.
And a willingness to face those uncomfortable truths.
About ourselves.
And the world.
There are no quick fixes.
No magic solutions.
It's about doing the work.
Having those hard conversations.
And choosing to believe.
In a better future.
Titus's story shows us that power.
The power of choice.
He could have given up.
Succumbed to the darkness.
But he kept fighting.
Searching for justice.
And ultimately chose to believe.
In redemption.
For himself and for Charon County.
It's a powerful message.
It really is.
For readers and for all of us.
It reminds us that we have agency.
We have the power to choose.
How we respond to the darkness.
Every little act of kindness matters.
It makes a difference.
All the sinners bleed.
It's fiction.
But it gives us real insight.
Into the challenges we face.
It makes us ask those tough questions.
About justice.
Morality.
And healing.
Not just in the story.
But in our own lives.
It really makes you think.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive. What are some key takeaways?
What do we want our listeners to remember?
The past is never truly past.
It shapes us.
Our history, personal and collective.
It's always there.
We have to acknowledge it.
Understand it.
And learn from it.
To have any chance of moving forward.
It's also a story about resilience.
The human spirit.
Even in the darkest times.
There's hope.
There's always that possibility.
Of redemption.
Of growth.
And healing.
And it's a call to action.
We all have a part to play.
In making the world a better place.
More just.
More equitable.
It's not enough to sit back.
We have to engage.
To shake out.
And work for change.
That's how we make a difference.
What a powerful note to end on.
It is.
And for those listening, we want to hear your thoughts.
On All the Sinners Bleed.
What resonated with you?
What questions did it raise?
Let's keep talking.
On social media.
Until next time.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Bookercast. We hope you enjoyed diving into it as much as we did. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Your support means the world, and we can't wait to hear your thoughts on this episode.
Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and share this episode with your fellow book lovers. And let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you. See you in the next deep dive. Bye for now, and happy reading.